Is there a possibility later this season, if he continues to struggle, that you can make a change at the quarterback spot?
No, I think that's ridiculous. I think, Jalen Hurts, I know every time I go out in that field with Jalen Hurts as our quarterback, we have a chance to win the game.
Show the camera. You're being ridiculous. Welcome to Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Barrett Brooks, I'm Michael Barkan. And here's a shocker for you, Double B. Nick Sirianni, adamant that he is on 94 WIP, that Jalen Hurts is his guy. I know you're stunned to hear this.
Oh, come on, man. Did they really think that he was going to change quarterbacks this season? We're talking about 200. Let me say it the way it's supposed to be said. $250 million quarterback is not going to sit the bench for anybody. And, come on, like it or not, Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He may have a bad game. He may have had a bad month. But it's not time to go out there and panic and think that this guy can't do it before. He's done it on the biggest stages. Everybody says, yeah, but he can't do it consistently. Well, hey, he's got a lot of work to do to start doing it consistently. But no, there's no way that, we should be talking about our second-team quarterback, replacing our first-team quarterback. No, absolutely not.
Not going to happen. At his news conference today, Sirianni spoke about the emotion of his team. It's our Bird's Eye View presented by Bush Auto Group.
The vibe might be not as high when it's not going well. I think that's human nature, right? Like, you're not going to be like, yeah, we punted on whatever, you know what I mean? So I think that's natural of that in the sense of, Stout always says this: execution fuels emotion. And so that's what we're focused on, locked in on, is executing. We're focused on trying to get them in the right, put them in positions to succeed and go from there. And I think that's what happens when I think you'll see more vibe, I guess, to say, as we, because we're confident as we start to execute and coach even better.
3-point stance presented by Toyota. Nick Sirianni must steady the ship is stance one. We all remember 2023. The players have said this season is different, hopefully. How confident are you in the coach, Barrett, to calm things down?
I'm very confident. He's done it before. I remember they wanted to oust him after that 23 season. I was always like, no, he's a good coach. Everybody has a bad play here and there, a bad season here and there, but, come on now. This guy has total control of his locker room. They still respect him enough that they're going to go out there and work for him. That team will run through a brick wall for Nick Sirianni. And to think that, he can't rewrite this ship is crazy. He is right now doing it. I went back and watched the film again. It was still bad. But I also understand this. They did some wrinkles in there to, kind of help me out as far as saying, all right, they are doing something different. They are trying something different. And that comes from Nick Sirianni hearing what the team is saying and trying to implement things that would help them out. But also in the same way he says, all right, they're giving him things he should do, but he's also telling players what you have to do. And that's, like Jalen Hurts. He's making sure he's getting them in a position to be a better player. Nick Sirianni will make sure that this team is all right going into the playoffs. It won't be a one and done. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be one of those situations where we're like, all right, it's a terrible season. We only make it to the first round of playoffs. No, we're going to make it past the first round of playoffs. And once you get to the playoffs, all bets are off. You know what I'm saying? Your record is 0-0. Once you get in, you play and you win, you stay in. And that's what I'm saying. He will do whatever it needs to be done to get these guys playing and get them on the right direction. I got total confidence in Coach doing that.
Stance number 2, Jalen Hurts must run the ball more. Barrett, he had just 8 rushing yards Monday night. On the season, he's averaging career lows in carries per game and rush yards per game. That's on him or the coaching staff?
I'll say it's on the coaching staff and him. I think it has a lot to do with him not wanting to go out there and run. He wants to make that progression into being a drop-back quarterback and using his arm more so than going out there and running. But what made him so effective last year and years past is his ability to run the ball. They have to respect him as a +1 runner, and it really helps him out a lot because once he is a runner, it makes that defense, respect that, and then you have to work, you have to defend that. A lot of times when you have a quarterback, he's just a drop-back guy, you're only defending 10 guys on the field as far as going out and running. Well, Jalen becomes that 11th guy. Now you have to allocate guys to make sure he's okay. Like you may have to spy him. That's another guy, if you spy him, that's another guy that takes him out of coverage or takes him out of blitzing. And that's what, Jalen Hurts provides. If you spy him, it'll totally take one guy out of the system in that defense. So, yes, I want him to run the ball. He is that good. He's that talented. He's fast. It was a travesty that he had 8 yards rushing, and the guy with one arm, Herbert, went out there and had 66 yards. His will to go out there and play as hard as he played won that game for him. He ran the ball, picked up crucial first downs to keep the sticks moving. We could do the same thing with Jalen, but it'll be a much more effective level. I'll even go out there and start running run plays for him. You know what I'm saying? Calling those type of plays. His legs are unique in the aspect that he can be a big-time game player. Make the defense defend him as a runner.
If I say Jalen Hurts has lost his will to run as he used to, what would you say? Not his will to win, his will to run as frequently, just doesn't want to do it.
No, that's not it. That's not it. He wanted his game to progress and to begin, more so of a drop-back quarterback. And I understand that every quarterback goes to that. I saw 5 do the same thing. I saw,
yeah.
And I saw, quarterbacks that run around a lot and become, big-time passers inside the pocket. I saw Randall Cunningham become a drop-back passer when he left the Eagles and went to Minnesota. A drop-back passer. So that's the progression. That's the natural progression of an NFL quarterback. But you still have to be that effect in the defense. Pull those guys in so those guys can open up on the outside.
Stance number 3. The Eagles are now finding ways to lose. We had thought they were a team that knew how to win games, but that concept has seemingly flipped. Even amid the disaster of the last 3 weeks, the Birds had the ball late with a chance to win or take a lead in each of those games, but failed to do it. How do they flip it back to the good old days, 4 games ago?
No, you got to go back to being a team that is disciplined. This team lacks discipline in getting all these penalties, lacks discipline and executing the offense. Once this offense gets on track because a more disciplined offense controls the line of scrimmage, it'll be easy for this team to go back to their winning ways. They already have the most talented, athletes in the NFL. This roster is built like no other. There's a more talented roster in the NFL. They just have to use it. And the only way they can do that is be more disciplined on how they approach the game. No more of the penalties. No more going out there and beating yourselves. Once they do that and execute, this will be a hard team to beat. Nobody's going to want to see them in the playoffs.
Let's open up the playbook on the Huddle today. It contains a healthy dose of Rube and the Deezy. It's presented by Supercuts. Dave Zangaro and Reuben Frank tell us whether this season will completely spiral out of control. We'll break down the NFC East race between the Eagles and Cowboys. Who'd have thought we'd be saying that 3 weeks ago? And is it time to lean on Saquon Barkley? I believe it may have worked last season. This is Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota. We got you covered Sunday before and after the Eagles host the Raiders. Our coverage begins at 11:30 with Birds Huddle Game Day, followed by Eagles pregame live, and then when the clock hits 0, flip it back to NBC Sports Philadelphia for Eagles postgame live. With more on a team and a major funk, more expert opinion presented by Carrier. Here are Dave Zangaro and Reuben Frank.
The Eagles have lost 3 in a row. They're now 8-5. Is the sky falling, or can they figure this out?
I'm not sure the sky is falling quite yet, but you look up there, it's kind of getting loose up there and falling off its hinges maybe. Eagles still have those 8 wins in their back pocket, so I think it's quite likely they will win the division and get to the playoffs. But there is cause for concern, certainly, because this is not the team we expected. This is not the team that they should be. It's not the team that can go make a serious playoff run. It's getting a little late to start thinking about how to fix it. My confidence level at the offense can be repaired and function at a level that they need to win some big games is really, really low.
And that's really what we're talking about here, right? There's 2 teams going on. The defense, they're living up to their end of the bargain. They had 1 bad game against the Bears. It happens. But for the most part, they've been really good. They were excellent against the Chargers. It's about the offense. Right now, the offense has been awful. And it's not even about them becoming an elite offense, right? It's about, hey, can they be average enough that this is a functional team and that the defense can carry them?
Yeah, and Nick had 1 chip along the way, and that was to replace the play caller. He didn't take it, and at this point, he's not going to. You know, we're sitting here with just a handful of games left, so I don't know what can change enough to make a big difference. You're not going to bench Jalen. I think that's a given. There's not a lot of things you can do other than changing the play caller. I don't understand why he didn't do it. Kevin Patullo is not the only problem. Let's make that clear. But he's the one thing that you can control, and you can't get someone else in there who maybe can give this offense a little kickstart. But he hasn't done that, and I don't know where that improvement's going to come at this point.
Yeah, now we did see some good things in that game Monday night. If you look through the turnovers and the mistakes, I thought there were some encouraging signs. Not enough, but maybe there's something to build on.
Yeah, we'll see. Raiders coming in, they have the ability to make any team look good. If they can't function against the Raiders, then they're in deep trouble.
Yeah, we'll probably learn a lot on Sunday.
Thank you, guys. Time for Up to the Challenge, presented by First Trust Bank, official bank of the Eagles. The NFC playoff picture entering Week 15 shows the Birds holding on to the 3 seed at the moment. The Cowboys, though, are breathing down their necks. The Birds' magic number to clinch the division remains at 3. And we've got the Eagles and Cowboys' remaining schedules behind us. We need to find a combination of 3 Eagles wins or Cowboys losses. Barrett, assuming the Birds clinch, when would it be?
I'm saying that they're going to clinch probably sometime next week. I'm saying that the Cowboys lose, and when they lose, it's going to put us in a position where we'll go ahead and win this week and next week, and bam, we're in the playoffs. This is a great situation for us. Yes, we can control our own fate by winning the next 3 games. But I'm just saying the Cowboys are going to give us, they're going to give us a little boost up. They're going to lose their game, which will give us a great opportunity then to go ahead and go into this playoff system knowing we're there and time for us to change and do things the right way.
Which one do you think they're more likely to lose, Minnesota or the Chargers?
I'm going with the Chargers. You saw what they did against us, and Herbert came in and played a masterful game. That defense is good, even though they really didn't stop us. We probably stopped ourselves. In fact, we did stop ourselves for the most part. But I don't know if they could go out there. I don't know the health of all their players and everything, but I think the Chargers have a great – I also think that Minnesota Vikings can also beat them. Even though their quarterback isn't as good, that defense could definitely stop that offense.
What concerns me is they roll through that schedule, and then the Eagles have to do.
Nah, they ain't gonna roll through that. They're gonna
a lot of work. I hope you're right, my friend. I hope you're right.
At least 2. They'll lose at least 2.
Geno Smith reportedly unlikely to play Sunday against the Eagles, which would mean Kenny Pickett.
Double
that
gloves.
Actually might be an upgrade over how Smith has played. Yeah.
I think it will be. You look at it. This is a young guy. He can play. He can go out there and hose it. And they need a change of scene. They need something. That's a horrible football team. A horrible football team. Their offensive line is the worst in the business. We had 7 sacks this last game. I'm looking for us against this team to have at least 10 sacks. You know what I mean? That's what this team should go out there and accomplish. It's all about this offense making that progression, turning things around, becoming a more run-dominant offense, doing little things like putting Jalen Hurts on the center, and then also the mere fact that we're talking about the Raiders being in competition, that's got to make them mad. That's really got to make the Eagles mad.
Yeah.